Or maybe which putter can you make the longest putt with? That kind of response would be what?
Categorical.
How long the putt is?
No.
Oh, no, the numerical.
That'd be numerical response, like how many feet. Okay, let's talk about this, because there's been a lot of really good ideas, and I want to discuss this before the end of class. So first off, what are some things that we can do experimentally? I'm not going to write all these details down, but DJ, what did your group come up with?
We said we'll have one or two people hit at least 10 strokes with the normal and long putter and get information, and we'll compare those.
Okay, so one or two people, 10 putts each. Is that with each putting method? So 10 putts with each putting method. All right, so there's one option. And what are you measuring in that case? Like, what data are you collecting, right? No, that's supposed to be PUTTs.
How many hits it takes to get into the
Okay, so maybe how many times it takes to get into the hole. Is that what y'all are thinking? Okay, so how close they get to the hole, right? So that's what you're measuring, how close they get to the hole? Maybe average distance from the hole? Okay.
Was the question at the beginning, wasn't it like the reason they took it out is because they thought it was weighting it to where it helps you with your control? So I don't think distance would be really the thing. I would think it would be like, because you know how when you're next to the hole and you hit it and it like doesn't go in, and you hit it again, it doesn't go in, it keeps going around. Stuff like that would be able to see which one has better like control. Because if you're just trying to hit it at a distance, you're just whopping it.
Well, so notice he's not saying just how far we're hitting it, it's the distance from the hole. So there's still the control element of how close can you get it to the hole.
That's what I'm saying is eventually you would get close enough to where you'd have to see the control, but it's like the question kind of shifts. It's like one is seeing, is this putter helping people fling it across the thing and that's why we need to take it out, or is it helping them with control to where...
But here's the thing, if you are only 15 feet from the hole and you just whack the crap out of it, is it only going to go 15 feet? No. You still have to have control to get it to stop at 15. You also need to have control to not let it go left and right. So the average distance from the hole, I think, would allow us to collect good data.
I was seeing if like the question was like...
Right. And I get what you're saying. I just want you to see that side of it, because I do agree. That's one way to do it. Again, there's lots of other ways, right? KJ, what did y'all come up with?
Each person will use both a long putter and a traditional putter to see which putter has more shots made out of the 3 shots they would get with each collector.
Okay, so each person uses both putters and what?
We'll see who makes more shots made out of those 3 shots.
Okay, so everyone gets 3 putts. 3 putts. And so like which putter has the most in the hole? Okay, and which putter has most in the hole? All right. Group 4. Someone from there, what did y'all come up with?
We would have like...
We test 3 different people.
Yeah, 3 different
both of
people with both the putters, and then we would let them do 2 different holes. One that was more to the long distance thing, and then like for short putts and long putts.
Okay, and so test.
So they would both get to, like you would be comparing your number against your number. Like we wouldn't compare the people's shots, but like if you made 10 with one and you only made 2 with the other, you can kind of see which one was better for you.
And then group 1, what were y'all thinking about? Okay, so each person, huh? Say it louder. So each person gets multiple trials. Okay, so each person, multiple putts. Okay. Did y'all, I think y'all also had the idea of everyone using both putters, correct? Yeah? Okay, so And then what are y'all going to measure? Y'all gonna also, I thought y'all said that you were gonna have like each person do like a short putt, a medium putt, and a long putt, right?
Yeah.
And then you were gonna see, if I remember correctly, how many they make from each? Maybe, okay? So, and we're looking at number of putts made from short, medium, and long, okay? So, all good experiments, all are gonna tell us about the ability to use these putters. A couple of things I want to talk about though, and these would show up under other questions pretty well. First off, what is the data that you will collect, right? What type of data? And so when I look at this first one, that idea of average distance from the hole, is that numerical or categorical?
Numerical.
That's going to be numerical, right? We're literally going to measure how far they are. This idea of which putter has the most in the hole, is that numerical or categorical?
That's
Categorical, which putter has the most in the hole, like, you said which putter, are you talking about the person, or are you talking about the putter? Like the long putter or the short putter?
Well, yes.
Which one has
ish.
the most?
But, okay, so you have to think of each individual trial, right? So each ball that is hit here, you're going to measure the distance that ball is from the hole, right?
I was just going off of your question, you said.
I know, but I'm trying to clarify this. What I'm pointing out here is, when you putt, based on this question, either you're going to make it or you're not. Is that response numerical or categorical? That's categorical, right? So you have to think about
That's what I
each.
said. I said categorical.
Yes,
Yeah,
with the wrong reasoning.
but why is it the wrong reason?
Because the point here is not whether you make it with the short or whether you make it, or like how many are made with the short and how many are made with the long. The question is, every time that you putt, do you make it or do you not? You need to look at each individual trial and ask yourself what kind of response it is. Every time that someone putts here, we're going to measure how far they are from the hole. That's a numerical piece of data. Every time someone putts here, the question is, do they make it or do they not? That response is categorical. Does that make sense? So you were looking at the final product, comparing the long versus the short, which kind of fits in the categories, but we're asking about each individual trial.
I just wouldn't do it like that. Well, depending on the course, if you have like a little straight and there's just a hole at the end and it's like, you make it, you're not.
Right.
That makes sense. But if it was like going for the long strokes or short strokes or whatever, like, not everybody can do a hole in one. That's not like a common thing.
Correct, which is one of the things that we would probably need to consider here. That's honestly why I like group 3 is probably the best at looking at the average distance from the hole, right? Because let's be real, I don't care which putter I'm using. If I'm more than 5 feet away, I'm not making it because I'm bad at golf. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so do we want to measure how bad I am at golf, or do we want to measure the effectiveness of the 2 putters?
Effectiveness.
Right.
It usually, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Okay. So I think all the rest of these also have that idea of how many putts are made. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Could we adapt this idea of just the average distance from the hole for all 3 of these though, and maybe that would give us a better idea?
Well, I'm saying, why wouldn't you judge it like normal golfers judge? Because normal golf is like, how many hits does it take you to get it to the hole?
I mean, you could do that too. Is that what anyone said?
Yeah,
Who said that?
we did. That was our whole thing.
I did not realize that's what you were saying.
Uh,
Okay, so how many putts to get in?
Yeah, so like you hit it once, it knocks up against the wall, you hit it again, it goes in, that's 2.
Okay,
For
I
that
was not
putter
clear on
or
that.
whatever, yeah.
And that's the thing, right? I get you now. In that case, how many putts to get in the hole, is that numerical or categorical? That'd be numerical, it's how many putts it takes to get in, right? So that's a good experiment as well. And so there's the different types of data we could collect. What variables will you try to keep the same? So one of the things I want you to point out is every single group here said, I want to compare someone with the long putter versus themselves, right? Okay, so a variable that we're trying to keep the same is the individual golfer. So this would go under number 3. right? If you compare one golfer versus another, is that going to tell you about the putting type, or is that going to tell you about their individual skill? Individual skill, right? And so this is called a matched pairs design. So the skill of each golfer doesn't affect the outcome, right? We want to test the putters, not the individual, okay? And this is the most important thing that I want us to understand, right? And we're going to talk about a couple more things probably tomorrow. And notice that's this question right here, number 5. What if some of the people in the experiment are really good at golf and others are really bad? Will that influence things?
No.
Yes. So what we want to test, hey, hold on.
But
Okay.
if you add your own, if you change the variable to where they're doing against themselves, it wouldn't affect you, because.
That's
the thing
what I'm
changed.
trying to say. I'm agreeing with that.
Oh, okay, well, you just
Yeah.
made my group turn against
Okay.
me. They were
So
like,
look, the
"You're wrong."
experiment, hey, hold on, I need you to write this down. What is the goal of an experiment? To see how the independent variable affects the dependent variable. That is called cause and effect, right? That is the goal of every experiment, cause and effect for dependent variable on independent variable. What? No, you need to hold on to that because we'll finish it tomorrow.
Or the variable.
So the goal is the cause and effect for dependent variable on the independent variable. And so up here, you see how that individual could have affected things? This would be known as confounding. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, but if we didn't compare someone to themselves, see how that would mess up our ability to make a prediction on if it's the anchored putting versus non-anchored putting on how good the golfing is. So we'll talk more about confounding tomorrow. I'll email you about the math literacy stuff. You can definitely turn your homework in. Leave it on the desk, and I'll just come collect it. I'll come up with a better system soon.
See, that's what, we tried to add as many variables as possible, so it would be the most accurate, so
Well-
like, it would be as many hits first off, and then multiple people doing it, and then 2 different courses doing it, and then the 2 different putts.
So what you're,
So each
You're actually not-
person, no, but it would, because think about it.
no,
each
I'm not
person,
saying you're
like-
wrong. I'm saying that you're not actually adding variables. You're actually comparing direct things,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is going to make you able to understand the putting a little bit
Yeah,
better.
I didn't mean adding like 50 feet and the
Yeah.
2
Hey, Jaden,
hits.
can you come real quick?
You have to use the cockpit, right?
Huh?
You have to use the cockpit.
Yeah, if you want to, it's right over there.
Unit 2, lesson 23.
Huh? You're just tired? Is that why you did it? 'Cause you did about solutions. You did pretty decent on the test. Okay, that's all it was? Huh? Long night doing what? Word. Yeah. To win? 12 something, I just said 4 something, okay. Cause I know how intelligent you are, right? I feel like you give up on yourself sometimes, I don't want you to do that. And then you're out of it, but just pick up a pencil, write stuff down, I want, and I guess if at that point you're like, oh, I did know that, you feel like you don't need to write it down, then cool. But I feel like you sit there and you don't write a lot of stuff down, it will help you train later, okay? So I just want you to know, I'm concerned about you, care about you, and want you to be successful, alright? Go ahead and get out of here. Get on. Yes. Okay, volume 2, yep. So yeah, glad we didn't get there yet, I'll email that out. No, just volume 2, yep. Yep, I'll email that out as a reminder. Hey, Shannon, is that Kyla's?
The paper?
Yeah.
That's my homework.
Oh, that's, huh?
That's the homework.
Oh, that's the homework, thank you. That makes more sense. I thought she left her, or you left your sheet, and I was like, no, you need that, the task from today. See you tomorrow. You did good. It's been fun. Didn't get as far as I wanted to in class, but it's fine. So,
Borrow a calculator.
You have to put your name up there. Coach, you feeling better?
Man, compared to this time as last week,
Yeah.
no comparison.
No comparison. You were only out last week, right? And then
Yeah, it kind of hit right on the Monday, school got canceled. That's bad. So, it wasn't as bad as it was.
right. 100%. It's good to have you back.
I don't know why anybody just don't want to work, just sit.
Just sit there and do nothing. I don't know, at the end of the school year, I could do that
You
for a couple
smile, I
of
see
weeks.
you smiling on your mask.
At the end of the school year, I like to veg out for a couple of weeks, but then I do need to be productive.
I agree. What's up, man?
I like to do nothing over Christmas break, which isn't always the best. My wife usually wants me to do something around the house, some improvement.
My wife teaches too, so we'll either just told her like retire from next.
Yeah.
Or we'll take a quick vacation.
My wife teaches too, so we do a similar thing. You're right. The summers is the best. Like we got married the week after school got out, so like we got out and then had a whole week and then got married. And so we have our honeymoon then, and her birthday's like a week after that. So we usually do something there.
So you smart to me. My crazy. What's going on, man? My crazy got married. Appreciate it, man. Miss you too. My crazy got married the Saturday before my first football game.
Oh no,
We
sir.
got married the last Saturday in August.
No,
I
sir.
look back and ask, what were we thinking?
That's a terrible idea. You didn't have a chance to be go on a honeymoon or anything.
We didn't have one. We waited all the way until like following summer.
Yeah. Yeah, we took a nice 10-day honeymoon. We didn't do a too expensive one. We actually went to Philadelphia, did a history thing there because she's a social science teacher and loves U.S. history. And I was actually born in Philly, so it was kind of nice going back home to where I was born and visiting. I had a good block.
You too, man.
Yep.
You real, man.
Oh yeah, I'll have a great block.
Huh?
So I'll have a great block.